Hey, this is Chris, and welcome to this lecture on the health-anxiety cycle. First, let's cover the definitions. What exactly is health anxiety? And the answer is it's an obsession with our health and the idea that we might be ill. And typically this is associated with serious or hard to detect illnesses such as cancer or sometimes we worry about it being like a common cold, but a lot of the time it's things that we think are really seriously wrong with us, that we could die from, that no one else can detect except us. And it's really the same thing as hypochondria. Some people might think there's a bit of a difference between hypochondria and health anxiety, but really that we're talking about the same thing when we talk about these topics. And for some people it's predominantly worry-based, like it's all going up cognitively in the mind, and for other people they might experience a lot of the symptoms, and that drives a lot of the anxiety. And what happens when we have health anxiety is that we go into what's called the health anxiety cycle. And this is it. So we might have a worry about our health, and because we have that worry, then we go looking for symptoms to validate that. And the body has a lot of aches and pains going on. We don't notice it because normally our attention is elsewhere, maybe worrying about the future, but there's loads of them in there. And so when we go looking for them, we find them. And then we misinterpret these signals as a sign of serious illness. So we find these little everyday aches and pains, and we think that that validates our initial worry about having something wrong with us. Having this kind of confirmation then activates the body's stress response, because we think, oh no, there is something seriously wrong, I found evidence of that, and then we start getting stressed. And when our stress response goes, then our heart rate is elevated, and we start sweating and all the things that we do when we're worrying, which then increases the uncomfortable symptoms that we're feeling. This increase in symptoms then makes us worry more, which means we're even more worried, even more focused in on how we're feeling, which encourages the worry that we have something seriously wrong with us. And so when we start stressing out about our health and really making ourselves ill because of the amount of worry, this cycle is what's going on. We're just going round and round, worrying more, increasing our symptoms because of the anxiety that we're feeling, and then noticing those symptoms more and worrying more. And so in order to get out of that, we need to break this cycle. And there's lots of different ways to do that. Different therapies tackle different ones. But in mindfulness, what we're going for is the one on the top right, the going looking for symptoms. So in order to break the cycle, we want to try and get rid of that. Because instead of having the worry and then going looking for the symptoms and then just concentrating on how we feel, instead we're just going to guide our mind back to the present and just stay really focused on what's happening now and not go into this kind of existential worry about what might be wrong with us. So we're tackling a few of these boxes really. We're tackling the going looking for symptoms, but also just that internal focus on how we're feeling. We're going to move that focus outside of the body, so we're not constantly getting that little confirmation from the aches and pains that we have. So in summary, everyone worries about their health, but it only really becomes a problem when we get trapped in this health anxiety cycle, and when we can't get out of that what really stresses us out and causing us more worry. But we can use mindfulness to break that cycle, and this is a skill and it takes effort to learn. It's not, I don't want to lie to you, I want to set your expectations that I'm going to give you these mindfulness meditations, and the more you practice them, the better you will get at them, but it does take time and some effort to learn these techniques.